Tonight, we are going to do something almost every person on earth does. You're going to pick up your phone in bed. You'll scroll for a few minutes just to unwind. But the real answer for why that feels so easy and why it costs you so much is far stranger than you think. Your brain was never built for this. Not for glass screens, not for glowing rectangles at midnight. It was built for fire, moonlight, and darkness so complete you could barely see your own hand. For most of human history, night meant one thing: stop. Your eyes still carry the proof. Deep inside your retina sit specialized cells discovered only in the early 2000s. They are not for seeing shapes, they are for detecting light itself, feeding that signal straight to a tiny brain region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Think of it as your body's master clock. It doesn't care what time your phone says, it only cares how much light is hitting your eyes right now. Harvard sleep researcher Charles Czeisler has spent decades studying this clock. His work showed something unsettling. Just a few hours of bright light exposure can shift your internal rhythm by hours, not days, hours. Your ancestors' clock was set by campfires and stars. Yours is being reset nightly by a 5-inch screen. Here's where it gets stranger. In 2014, researcher Anne-Marie Chang and her team at Brigham and Women's Hospital ran a study comparing people who read on light-emitting e-reader before bed to people who read printed books. Same content, same bedtime, same routine. But the screen readers took longer to fall asleep. Their melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to rest, was suppressed, and the next morning they felt groggier even after a full night in bed. The book didn't do that, only the light did. Why does light have this much power over you? Because for nearly 200,000 years, light was information. Bright light meant danger, movement, hunting, gathering. Darkness meant safety, stillness, rest. Your body used light as a survival signal, not entertainment. It still does. It just doesn't know the difference between sunrise and a Netflix thumbnail. Oxford neuroscientist Russell Foster puts it simply: your circadian system evolved to expect one dramatic light change per day, sunrise. Now you might trigger that same wake up signal a dozen times a night. Every time your phone lights up on the nightstand, your body doesn't know you're just checking the time. It thinks the sun came up. But it's not only the light, it's what's on the screen. Notifications aren't random. They're built by teams of designers using decades of behavioral psychology. Every buzz, every red dot, every someone liked your post taps into a reward circuit your brain evolved for something else entirely. Foraging, finding food in an unpredictable environment meant your brain had to release a hit of dopamine not when you found the food, but when you thought you might. That anticipation is the addictive part. Modern apps don't feed you certainty, they feed you maybe. And your ancient reward system can't resist a maybe. So you check, and checking feels like nothing. A few seconds, you think, but your brain doesn't experience it that way. Falling asleep isn't a switch, it's a gradual descent, layer by layer, into slower brain waves and quieter thought. Every phone check is a small climb back up that descent. You're not delaying sleep by minutes, you're restarting the process. Think about what actually happens inside a single night of sleep. Your brain cycles through stages, dipping from light rest into deep, slow wave sleep, then back up into dream heavy REM, over and over, roughly every 90 minutes. Deep sleep is when your body repairs muscle and clears out metabolic waste. REM sleep is when your brain sorts memory, files away the day, and processes emotion. Interrupt the early stages of that cycle, and you don't just lose a few minutes, you lose the deep, restorative stages that only appear later in that night, the ones your body was counting on. This is why one late night scroll can feel disproportionately costly the next morning. It's not the 10 minutes you spent looking at a screen, it's the hour of repair sleep you pushed further down the night. Sleep your body may never fully make up. And your ancestors didn't face this trade off. When the fire burned low and the group settled in, there was nothing left glowing to check, no feed to refresh, no red dot promising something new. The night simply ended in stillness because there was nothing else it could do. Here's the twist most people never hear. It's not really about willpower. Blaming yourself for scrolling in bed is like blaming your hand for pulling away from something hot. That's not weakness. That's 40,000 generations of programming responding exactly the way it was built to respond. The problem isn't your discipline, it's that your environment changed far faster than your biology could. Consider what your ancestors' evenings actually looked like. Firelight is warm, dim, and flickers in the red orange spectrum, the same wavelength your circadian cells barely register. A campfire could burn for hours without confusing your internal clock. Your phone, your ceiling light, your laptop, these all sit heavy in the blue spectrum, the exact wavelength your eyes are most sensitive to when telling time. You didn't choose blue light to be the enemy of sleep. Evolution chose it for you, 100,000 years before anyone built a screen. There's a reason this mismatch snuck up on almost everyone at once. Electric light spread across the world in a single century. 200,000 years of darkness trained biology, overwritten in 3 or 4 generations. Your grandparents may have grown up with a single bulb in the hallway. You grew up with a screen in your pocket that never really turns off. Biology didn't get a vote in how fast that happened. This is where the modern mirror comes in. Somewhere in your home right now, there's a piece of technology working against a rhythm older than language itself. Maybe it's the phone charging beside your pillow. Maybe it's the television left on as background noise. Maybe it's the desk lamp you keep on too bright, too late. None of it is malicious. It's just mismatched, built for productivity and connection, not for the ancient clock ticking inside your skull. And yet, the same understanding that explains the problem also points toward the fix. If your body responds to light as information, then you can choose what information you send it. Dimming lights an hour before bed doesn't feel like much, but to a system that's been reading light as truth for 200,000 years, it's the closest thing to a sunset your body will get. Keeping screens out of the bedroom isn't a rule invented by wellness influencers. It's a return to the one condition your brain has always expected at night, darkness that actually means something. Some people now use tools designed around exactly this science. Blue light filtering glasses, screens with night mode color shifts, sunrise alarm clocks that mimic dawn instead of jolting you awake with sound. These aren't gimmicks. They are small technological patches trying to speak your body's oldest language again. None of this requires abandoning modern life. Nobody is asking you to sleep by firelight in a cave. The goal isn't to reject technology, it's to notice where technology quietly works against a system it was never designed to consider, and to make small corrections where you can. A dimmer switch, a phone charging outside the bedroom, 20 minutes of dim light before you close your eyes. Small signals sent consistently are enough to remind an ancient clock that night still remains what it always meant. So tonight, when you reach for your phone in bed, notice it. Notice the pull. Notice how automatic it feels, like breathing, like blinking. That's not an accident. That's your evolutionary wiring meeting a world it never evolved to predict. You're not broken for wanting to check. You're ancient, running on ancient rules inside a room that stopped playing by them. Tonight, you're going to do something almost every person on earth does. You're going to pick up your phone in bed, but now you'll know exactly why that small glowing rectangle feels impossible to put down, and exactly what 200,000 years of darkness is quietly asking you to give back.